Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video after Survival Sunday, which was the Season 8 finale and the Season 4 premiere for Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. In this one, we're going to do our usual video predictions for what we think is going to happen next season in The Walking Dead Season 9. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen the finale for The Walking Dead Season 8 as of yet, as well as, the premiere for Season 4, since it was Survival Sunday and they did them back to back. We'll have the reviews and the end video after this video for you guys for both The Walking Dead Season 8 finale, Fear the Walking Dead Season premiere for Season 4, and also a video topic Q&A whether or not we thought the finale for The Walking Dead Season 8 was disappointing. So have that all in the channel for you guys, as well as the end screen videos. Definitely click on those so you can watch those videos after you're done watching this one. Man, that's it. Season 8 is over. We are now heading towards Season 9. We'll be doing lots of Walking Dead videos, getting geared up for Season 9 for at least probably the next month or so, until we eventually run out of things to talk about until they give us some new stuff. We'll have lots of top 10s and things like that. As we usually do, gearing up here for Season 9 after just that big wrap-up for Season 8 and the finale for All Out War. So this is a very interesting time for Walking Dead because this is going to be a time of a big shift in the series, as they've already kind of confirmed. They've said, and I did a video on this on Sunday, the Season 8 finale for The Walking Dead, it's not just the finale for a season, and it's not just the finale for All Out War, but it's actually like a finale of the first 8 seasons. So it's very much a reset point after the Season 8 finale of The Walking Dead. It sounds like they're going to be doing a time skip for Season 9, which is exactly what they did in the Walking Dead comic book series version. So it sounds like they're going to go similar in terms of the time skips in the series and what they do. Here we have All Out War Part 2, which is Volume 21 of the Walking Dead comic book series. You got Negan on the front here, and he's running in. You got Dwight there as well with him, as well as other saviors. And then after that volume, so after the end of All Out War Part 2, when All Out War is over, we see a new beginning. So this is Volume 22, a new beginning after a 2-year time skip after the end of All Out War. So with the Walking Dead television series, we're thinking that, they'll probably do some kind of a time skip. Will it be 2 years? There's no way to know. It could even be less than that. If they did like a year or something, that would probably make sense. As long as it's enough time for them to basically regather everything back together, get all their stuff straight. After All Out War, they're rebuilding all the communities. We already saw them starting this at the end of Season 8 in the finale there. Morgan leaving. Them trying to bring Morgan back and him deciding not to go and him kind of running off into fear. So I think it's safe to say we probably won't see Morgan back in The Walking Dead anytime soon. Probably not for a couple years. If you want to see Morgan, you're going to have to watch Fear because it looks like it's going to be one of our, A-list main leads along with Madison and the others in Fear going forward. So that's going to take Morgan away from Walking Dead. He goes to Fear, which is great. Also Scott Gimple, who of course is the showrunner and has been the showrunner since Season 4, started Season 4 until now, is going to be leaving that role to do a kind of a content, overall arcing manager type of role. So he's going to be replaced by Angela Kang, who's going to be the showrunner for The Walking Dead Season 9, which is really perfect for a new beginning. So in terms of the feel from the comic book version of All Out War versus this version and what we've seen in the TV series so far, I think a new beginning is really something refreshing, and as they've talked about a reboot or a reset, it's much needed, I think, for The Walking Dead. They really have to. They've had this Negan story arc going on in the TV series far longer than it did in the comics. Really, All Out War in the comics was 2 volumes, which usually they adapt into about a half or a little bit more than a half a season of a Walking Dead season. This year in Season 8, they adapted the entire Volume 2 of All Out War, filled pretty much the whole season. They expanded the war. They made it even bigger. They added in Simon. They added in Jadis and other characters, and they really just used the war for the whole season of Season 8. which it was great to see, and I thought it translated pretty well for a TV series because it's hard to do action in a TV show, considering how much it costs and everything. And it's just very difficult to do in terms of time constraints and all that. But really, for us as viewers, especially if you're not, because I'm an action guy. I love to see action in shows. I love action series. I love action movies. But there's something that can happen with action when it goes on too long, and it just burns everybody out. People start getting tired of it. They're like, and I feel like that probably happened a little bit this season during All Out War. There was just so much fighting and so much action all throughout. It's probably going to be really nice to see a change of pace in The Walking Dead Season 9 and shifting things back with Angela Kang as showrunner to where you shift it back to kind of the regular sort of living in the zombie apocalypse. So whereas Season 8 was like war, Season 7 was kind of the premiere started with a finale for the deaths, and then it got things going with building up to getting ready for a war. It's really been over 2 years of the Negan story arc. So Negan basically being moved from the role of leader of the Saviors to, in Season 9, imprisoned, same as the comic book series version. He's in this, but he's basically in this in prison attire, and he's just pretty much been in a cell ever since the end of All Out War ended. Meanwhile, they've been rebuilding all the communities. They've been getting everything set, and getting things really back on track, which they've had to do because, after All Out War, everything was destroyed. Here's Neegs here with the beard, and you can see JDM is even growing a sweet beard too, so he's already working on that. And he's got the longer hair, which they may have to give him some extensions or something in the TV series to make that work if they want to do that. That'll be fun. Can you picture JDM with rhyme bars like this? That's going to be funny, man. So there's that. Of course, they've set up the stuff with Maggie, and there's all the controversy about whether or not Lauren Cohen's even going to resign at all, if they're going to have to recast her, if she's going to become a villain, which is going to be the topic for a video later on this week, and what we think is going to happen with that. I tend to think that, Angela Kang's approach, as we've kind of inspected it, because she's been writing on The Walking Dead for many years now, her approach are the things that she does best, as I've said in a few videos now. For me anyway, the way I view it, and a lot of you guys agreed, is the interpersonal relationships. So she's very good at weaving those interpersonal ties, the feels for how people feel about each other, and a very connected type of community writing type of approach. So with a focus of Season 9 probably being more on a connected community and how everybody kind of interacts with each other and feels about each other. So the Maggie stuff with Jesus and Daryl somewhere in there too, will it come to a head? Will we see Maggie make an attempt on Negan? Will we see her, view Rick and Michonne kind of as enemies now for taking away from her revenge, and not being able to kill Negan at that point when she wanted nothing more in the world but to do that? It's a good question what they're going to do with it, but there's so many unknowns right now because we don't even know if she's going to be able to come back. We don't even know if the actress is going to come back, at all. She might not. If she decides they're going to turn me into a villain, I don't want to do that, so I'm just not going to, I'm not going to re-sign. Then they have to recast her. They have to kill her off, do something like that for Season 9. There are a lot of unknowns. Another huge unknown here is this is 22, but if you look at 23, which should be around the mid-season finale range after a few episodes, Whispers into Screams, here's Carl right here. So are they going to replace his part with Henry entirely? It seems like most likely, but is the audience going to care? Is the audience going to care for Henry the same way they've cared for Carl throughout the series? That's difficult to say. That's difficult to say how that's gonna work for people and how they're going to react to that. So we'll see. But I do think it's going to be cool to get a new showrunner here for a new beginning with, introducing probably some new characters here on the cover. We got Magna's group, who is not a character in the TV series yet, so we may see her be introduced next season if they stay faithful to the comics. Angela Kang also works in the horror really well, so instead of it being more of like Season 8 was kind of an action fest in the zombie apocalypse, Season 9 would probably be living, showing us the new world, showing us how things have changed, updating us in the drama, and then bringing in some of the horror too with the Whispers that are in this volume getting started near the end of this one. They just start to come in near the end, which most likely we're going to see. But I would not be surprised if in early on Season 9 we have a couple of just light, fun, type of episodes where it's a lot like Season 4 maybe, where you have the illness come in, but possibly you just have the characters living, going to see each other, talking with each other, having interactions with each other, and showing us, the viewer, the type of world that they're building. Maybe a huge zombie herd in there to kind of fill out the premiere, and having kind of like a happy, a more of levity type of first half season until you bring in the Whisperers, and then you start to see some of the really dark stuff where you bring in the horror, and not necessarily action, but you have, because we've got so much of that in the last 2 years, especially this last year, but straight horror, like drama, character dynamics, and straight horror without all of the crazy action. And then probably later on that season, we most likely see volume 24 if they adapt it based on the 3 volumes that they usually do, and we see a bunch of deaths at the hands of the Whisperers, and kind of the lead in to what eventually is the Whisperer War. That would most likely be in season 10, and I think that makes a lot of sense. We really don't need to see another war next year, meaning like when I say next year, I mean season 9. It'd probably be season 10 to season 11. They could even probably stretch it to season 11 after all the battles and stuff we had this year. It really doesn't feel necessary to see that type of a story. So in terms of predictions, that's what I'm mostly thinking based on the comics, because we don't have, we don't know for TV, but based on the comic book version, that's what I'm thinking most likely we're going to see for season 9. A new feel for Walking Dead, the show reinventing itself, some levity with Rick and Michonne and the others, some positive moments. How does Maggie work into that with this scheme? I kind of think she doesn't really. Or like what we saw in the finale is probably not going to be something that's going to be really, something she goes after. That's at least the way I think about it. Like when I look at it, I think like, is she really going to take action against Rick and Michonne? I don't think so. So it might be something where she tries to kill Negan or something, or assassinate him or something, sends Jesus in, or I don't know. They resolve it somehow, and I don't think any of them will kill each other. You might have a lower C character or something, death as part of that in the first half, but yeah, and then eventually the Whisperers coming in and being a huge threat by the time we get close to the end of that season. But we'll see how they adapt the whole thing and what kind of a season 9 ends up being. In terms of predictions, I mean, aside from that, will we see Sherry again? Will Sherry end up being Alpha? It's a topic for another video. The belt buckle. We saw the honeymoon note to Dwight, and we saw the rebirth sign, which is the Alpha wears a belt buckle with like a snake, which is in the same kind of a symbol or same kind of sign. So is that a lead-in that maybe Sherry will become Alpha or become one of the Whisperers? It certainly could be, and I am looking forward to seeing the Whisperers in the show tremendously as part of that big-time horror aspect that I expect to see. It's just going to be so strange for the series. A couple things I'm really hoping. I really do hope that Lauren Cohan re-signs for Maggie in the series, because when I look at this and I think we're already losing Carl, if we lost Maggie too going to season 9, man, that's going to be a lot of stuff that I just is really uncertain about how the audience is going to feel about it without Carl being there. And then if you lose Maggie too, it's like, damn, now what are you going to do? I just don't know. So assuming she returns, I think they'll have a story up in the first half, but I think it'll be resolved rather painlessly. I don't think we'll see, Maggie kill off Michonne or Rick or anything like that. No, I think it'll just be kind of a minor dispute there, something that's addressed later on. You'd expect Maggie to feel that way about Negan at this point, but I really don't think much will come of it as far as her becoming a villain. However, we'll get into that topic more later on this week. You guys can leave your comments below and write your predictions. What do you think we'll see for The Walking Dead Season 9? What do you think it will look like? Do you think Dwight might become a Whisperer too? How do you see this thing going? Let me know where you guys are at with this one. And if you like this video, as per usual, please thumb it up below. Check out the other videos here, as I mentioned, in the end screen boxes there. And if you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, you can do so at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you tomorrow.